Happy 1 month to Comic-Con, everybody. This week we have a very special guest, Justin Copeland, one of the creative forces behind the DC animated films The Death of Superman, Suicide Squad Hell to Pay, Batman and Harley Quinn, Batman the Killing Joke, and tons more. Tonight he is here to discuss the highly anticipated Batman Hush. We can't wait to talk about it. Also, we have all your latest Comic-Con news and a lot to talk about this week on the ConGuys Show.
Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk. We talk movies. And now, here's Popcorn Talk's The Con Guy Comic-Con Prep Show.
Ladies and gentlemen in the studio, please silence your cell phones and other electronic devices. Katie.
Welcome guys to the Con Guy Comic-Con Prep Show. We are so excited to have you. As Katie so aptly told us all today. Today we have 4 weeks until San Diego Comic-Con. It starts on the 17th. Derek's going to give us the lowdowns in just a second. But we are super stoked about that. Anyways, we have the All-Star panel tonight and All-Star guests as well. Derek, who do we have?
Hi, my name is Derek. I'm a contributing writer to theconguy.com and a fan of many things.
Hi, I'm Justin Copeland, and I worked on a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
He said already.
Humble.
Jim Stoll's Thunder.
Hi, my name's BenKliewer, and I do things. Actor, comedian, writer. I guess we don't do our handle at the top of the show anymore, do we?
At the end.
Okay, on to Luke.
Yeah, we do that for sake of time, so just stopping to talk about why we don't do it is a great idea.
Exactly. Let's discuss this thoroughly.
Who do we have on the couch?
On to me and Katie. I'm Cheeseman on the couch here with ConGuy.com.
And I'm Katie, a.k.a. the Con Girl, here on the couch today. So excited to...
And in the booth, we have Ryan Nilsson, who is taking care of us in engineering. And
what's going on, you guys?
We all run right. Thank you,
Mr.
Ryan.
Bodied voice.
So excited to be with you tonight.
This is a very good night we have tonight. We have so much to talk about because Comic-Con is only 4 weeks away. Katie's going to catch us up on all the Comic-Con news. Ben's going to give us our 3 weeks. 3 weeks. That's a lot of news.
That's a long
3 weeks of
podcast.
news.
He's going to give us our 3 minutes of news, and then we are going to dive in deep and find out all we can about Batman Hush.
Yeah.
Justin, we are so excited to have you on the show with us this week.
Yeah, this is great. I'm excited to be here, man.
Yeah, like I was looking, like if you look at your IMDb page, it's way too long for us to talk about, but just a few things.
Yeah.
Storyboard supervisor on the animated films Justice League versus the Fatal Five, Reign of Superman, Suicide Squad Hell to Pay, Batman Gotham by Gaslight, storyboard artist on Teen Titans The Judas Contract. Great. That was one of my all-time favorite comic book stories.
Yeah.
Batman and Harley Quinn, Justice League League Dark,
Yeah.
Batman the Killing Joke,
Which
Dark,
we saw at Comic-Con
Speaking of Dark,
years ago. Yeah.
yeah, well, look here.
Oh, yeah, nice.
And then also a storyboard artist on Guardians of the Galaxy. You don't stick to always just one.
Nah.
Avengers Assemble, Ultimate Spider-Man, and the Agents of Hulk, Agents of Smash, and of course, your directorial debut, Batman Hush.
Yeah.
And your biggest contribution to the show, you're a friend of Ben's.
Yeah.
He's
a friend of us all.
And Derek. Like, we all kind of know each other. So
Justin's also a father of 5.
Yeah.
that's his biggest
That's the biggest.
accomplishment right there.
Happy belated Father's Day.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
His
Thanks,
boys can swim.
Yeah.
Very well.
Anyways, thanks for being on the show tonight.
Absolutely.
And so, how long? We're going to talk, and just let everybody know, we're going to talk the last half of the show about Batman Hush.
Yeah.
But how long have you been in the animation business?
So let's see. I think it's just about 10 years now.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it.
Wow.
And then, hearing everything, obviously I don't think about everything that I've worked on.
This is just a fraction.
And that's not everything. I do stuff that I don't want to be seen. On IMDb, you're like, I can't, this is bad.
Can I delete this?
But yeah, it's been a really long road. It's been a long journey. To hear it condensed like that is weird, but it's fun. I love my job. It's amazing, to work on amazing comic book stories and projects every day. Yeah, it's awesome. I'm having a blast.
Yeah, because when I think about it, I met you and your brothers, both your brothers.
Yeah.
About probably 8 or 9 years ago,
Yeah.
and you guys were I was just fascinated that you guys were working at Nickelodeon or Warner Brothers or whatever, doing storyboards and that kind of stuff, and but you guys just were so ambitious to be and on to the next and keep doing and keep drawing, and And your story is really fascinating too. Growing up in Chicago and then ending up out here was, and I won't take anything away from you and your story, but it is, if I don't know if we have time to talk about it all on the show tonight, but if we do, I'd really like the viewers and the listeners to hear some of your story.
Yeah, we're definitely going to jump in. I really want to hear all that stuff.
Yep.
And you mentioned he has a brother that works in the industry as well.
Yeah. My brother Chris. We usually now we're more partners, so we direct together, and that's sort of
the dynamic duo.
Yeah. I don't know how dynamic it is, but we're definitely a duo. But yeah, we direct together now. So yeah,
that's fantastic.
Yep.
We should try and get him on too. I want to. He was out of town the last few days or something when I reached out to you. So, but soon.
It's too much power in the room to have us both.
That's true.
Right.
I think maybe just one Copeland brother at a time.
Charisma.
Yeah.
Well, we are going to jump ahead a little bit. We're going to be talking about Batman Hush and the other DC films that he's been working on, and so excited about that. By the way, we should let everybody know some of these films, they're not what you would always call. They're not little kid films.
No,
not at all. These are things that we love to see. Well, that sounds like I only like
violence,
violence, gore.
No, but they really lean into
Assault.
like the adult nature of Batman or some of the other stories. Anyways, we'll talk about that in just a second. Anyways, we are going to do our 3-week.
3 minutes.
I said it
3
again.
minutes. Much shorter than a week.
Oh my god.
3 minutes.
Yeah.
Wait, 3 minutes of geek news.
Ryan, put 3 minutes up on the clock for me, please.
3 minutes is coming
Thank
up
you, Ryan.
in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
The box office seems to again be suffering from a case of sequelitis. The challenged sequels of late, Godzilla, King of the Monsters, Dark Phoenix, and The Secret Life of Pets 2, gave a majority of people little reason to buy tickets to the cinema this weekend. The same thing was true this past weekend for Sony's Men in Black International, which became the lowest opener of the franchise with $28.5 million. Worries of franchise are beginning to simmer.
Franchise fatigue.
Franchise fatigue. Okay, I was like, what? I don't read this before I jump in. It's part of the challenge. Are beginning to simmer in Hollywood. And speaking of possible franchises, Lionsgate has begun work on a Hunger Games prequel movie based on a forthcoming novel from writer Suzanne Collins. The still untitled novel will be released by Scholastic and set 64 years before the start of the original Hunger Games novels. In theme park news, Costa Rican-inspired cuisine and flavorful tiki cocktails served at Jurassic Cafe and all-new tropical Isla New Bar add to the dynamic guest experience as part of the Universal Studios Hollywood's new mega attraction opening this summer, Jurassic World: The Ride. Based on the Jurassic World blockbuster films, it's a re-theming of the popular Jurassic Park ride, which closed to make way for the newest attraction. The sweepstakes to land a massive overall deal with Bad Robot, the famed production company run by J.J. Abrams and his wife, and co-CEO Katie McGrath, is nearing the finish line. Following a months-long courting process that includes multiple suitors, Warner Media is in final negotiations for a new partnership with Bad Robot, sources say.
Huge. Yeah.
It's estimated that any new pact for Bad Robot could be valued in the $500 million vicinity when all is said and done. Batwoman, which stars Ruby Rose as the title character. She's pretty awesome. We were watching The Meg before I left the house tonight.
Oh, yeah.
The first out lesbian character to lead a superhero TV series will kick off the network's shows on Sunday, October 6th at 8 p.m. It will be paired with fellow DC series Supergirl, which moves back an hour to 9 p.m. Finally, William Shatner plans to boldly go to explore the world's most unexplainable mysteries in a new anthology series for History Channel. The cable channel announced that the Star Trek icon will host and produce the unexplained, there's no E in explained, an 8-episode hour-long that's the way the show is spelled, though. An 8-episode hour-long nonfiction anthology series examining such subjects as mysterious structures, cursed ancient cities, extraterrestrial sightings, and bizarre rituals. 25 seconds left.
Ding, 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 ding.
Well done.
Nice.
Well done.
Okay, speaking of Starfleet captains, who here saw the Picard trailer that was released a few weeks ago for the new Picard
great.
series?
I did watch it.
Yeah. Did you also see the fan-made thing where they dubbed in the sound from a Viagra commercial?
No, I did not, but that's hilarious.
It fit perfectly.
Oh, no. Well, he's like walking through like fields and he's like got a vineyard or something like that.
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want a taste of a little bit of Picard's wines. And
Yeah,
whatever.
I hope he calls it Make It Sauvignon.
Oh,
Yeah.
All right.
Excellent.
And Katie, thank you for that tip about the new restaurant. By the way,
Yes.
that was the language that you were reading about Universal Studio was hard to read. That's directly off the press release, and
Yeah, that's a tongue twister.
they got someone else to write that.
They have pictures on the tweet, which I retweeted earlier on the ConGuy Twitter. It has pictures of like the cocktails. They all come in like these tiki mugs. It's pretty cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And who saw Men in Black this weekend?
I did.
I did.
Okay, what did you guys think of it?
It was fun. I
Yeah,
mean,
it was
like,
fun.
Yeah, I think I saw you shaking your head about like sequelitis
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
sequel fatigue, franchise fatigue. What do you think?
Well, I can't complain about it too much because every movie I make, I'm not
You're part of a franchise.
recreating the
That's a good
wheel. You know what I mean? So I'm not complaining about it too much, but I love originality. You know what I mean? And I think that a lot of studios are a little afraid to step out and do something.
Oh no, absolutely.
Yeah.
You hit the nail on the head. A lot of studios, the biggest thing now is they don't want to spend a bunch of money on something that's going to lose money,
Yeah.
Right.
and so they like to invest in things where they call it a something like a pre-established audience
Existing
or something.
Existing IP.
Existing IP or a pre-existing audience and that sort of thing, where they know people are going to buy a ticket to it just because of what it is.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a safer bet. And and every movie that's made is a big gamble. And even more so now when like so many movies are big budget movies.
Right.
And that's the only way to get people to go to the theater.
But the weird risk is that you keep just making the same thing over and over again, essentially,
Yep.
and then people don't want to go see that.
Yeah. It was predictable.
Yeah.
That was my one not so happy thing about it. But it was a fun time. Like the whole it still felt like a Men in Black movie with the comedy and like the aliens being the comic relief. Because I thought the aliens were just had that same feel. But it was fun. Like I mean I have A-list, so it didn't really like lose money going to it. But I definitely would not have paid $20 to see it.
And speaking of original movies, this coming weekend we have. Anybody? What's coming out? It's the Battle of the Toys weekend.
Well, I was going to say
Toy
original.
Story
That's
4?
not. Neither of those is new
I'm making
original.
fun of
Child's
Okay.
Play.
Okay, I was so
Toy
confused.
Story
Existing
4.
IP.
Yes.
It's Toy Story 4
Movies.
versus Child's Play,
Yeah.
the reboot.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then next week is the new Annabelle.
So it's the Battle
we
of the
got all the
Toys for
toys
about a
competing,
weekend.
yeah.
But speaking of
All
Chucky,
from different studios, right? Like,
Chucky, we have another podcast that we do called The Scare Guy, and even though this falls kind of in the ConGuys area, but we have a special video that, from Child's Play 2, the original Child's Play 2. One of the actresses from that has made a special video that Brad has captured for us. If we can take a look at that. Christina Leese.
I got Chucky. It was the first big job I ever did. Child's Play 2. I was unbelievably excited to be there every single day on the set. It was an exciting time for me. I wasn't very talented or experienced. I didn't know what I was doing, but I was just unbelievably happy to be there. And it was awesome. The doll takes 9 puppeteers to work and costs a lot to have on set. And Alex Vincent was 6 or 7 and had child labor laws that applied to him. They'd shoot him first and get him into school and send him home. Then they'd shoot the puppet because he took 9 SAG actors to run and then send him home. If you don't see either of those characters in frame with me when I do my scenes, my close-ups and stuff, they weren't there.
Talk about the fans.
I do horror conventions now because they're awesome. And I get to see people like Alex Vincent, who is like my real little brother. And I get to see actors that I know and love and don't get to see much in my real life. And I get to meet the fans that are just diehards. Thank you so much for watching them because they wouldn't make them if you didn't watch them. So God bless you.
Oh.
Thank you, Brad, for providing that. You can go to Brad's website and check that out. Also, we hope to have her
Which
as
I
a
think is dreamloudofficial.com.
DreamLoudOfficial.com. Brad has a really cool series of videos.
And he's Bradley206 on Instagram.
Yep. So, yeah, check that out. He has a lot of other videos and photographs to show. Bradley's kind of like our sixth member of the show here. He won't come on, but
he's always tweeting at us and commenting
His
on YouTube.
spirit
and
is
stuff while
here.
we're done.
Texting,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, I can't... Tell us what you think. Go see Child's Play this week if you want to. Or Toy Story 4, which
Or see them back to back. You see
Which
the
is
scary
good.
one and then the funny one.
that would
I'm
be an
doing that.
experience.
Are you really?
Did I not tell
Yeah.
you guys?
No.
Yeah.
Yes.
We'll talk about it later.
But I hear the Toy Story 4 is getting some of the best reviews of all 4 Toy Story
Wow.
films.
Apparently, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and the other thing is Child's Play has been doing the poster advertising campaign
Yes.
where he's killing the Toy Story characters.
Yeah.
Have you seen this?
Yeah. No, they're great. There's like one where he's walking away like dragging Woody.
That
There's
is
one where
brilliant.
That's great.
he's roasting Slinky.
Or
Slinky Dog.
Slinky Dog.
how do they get away with that?
It's not. They don't show like the actual like It's like a more
it's a parody.
It's a more realistic
it's a
version of the
parody.
toys. It's not like actually the toys, but
Right.
you know it. What it is.
It's distant enough from the legitimate design that they can, avoid a copyright.
I'm pulling a few up for you guys
Okay,
right
cool.
here.
Thank you.
Ryan's going to pull a couple of these up for
Yeah,
us.
they're pretty great.
Oh my gosh.
wow.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just like an arm. Yeah, like an arm in Eddie's hat.
Yeah.
There
Chucky
you go.
has done away with Woody in
or
that.
Woody's hat.
Isn't it crazy? And it's the voice of Mark Hamill, so
Yeah.
I'm really curious about how Mark Hamill's going to get all evil. He did well with the Joker.
Yeah.
He did well. He can do diabolical.
You know, it's interesting. Okay, Mark Hamill's doing the voice of Chucky. Toy Story 4 has Tony Hale as the voice of Forky.
Yeah.
They both played Joker in different
Oh, yeah,
projects.
that's right.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
true.
Oh my gosh.
It's all connected, man.
It is.
Yeah.
All right, Derek, if you can take us through a few conventions that are coming up.
Yeah, as always, there are lots of conventions coming up. June 22nd and 23rd, this coming weekend, is Smallville Comic Con in, is it Hutchinson?
Hutchinson, Kansas,
Hutchinson, Kansas,
yeah.
which gets renamed Smallville for the weekend. And their special guest this year is Brandon Routh.
Which is appropriate.
Yes,
so
He
great.
is Superman.
That's-
He
For
was-
the
he was
record,
in this Superman.
online when I found it, it said Smallville Comic Con being held in Smallville. So that's all I
Yeah,
knew.
yeah. So that's the thing. So I grew up 15 minutes away from Hutchinson, Kansas. So I it's my home stomping grounds. It's I know it well. I went to junior high school in Hutchinson. So yeah, there was, as I understand it, there was a long time ago. So there's a huge nerd population in that area. Where do you think I came from?
Yeah.
Anyway, so there was, I feel like, a push to try to rename Hutchinson Smallville, and of course the non-nerd general public voted that down. But I think they did when they brought the comic book convention into town, and I think their inaugural year they had like Billy D. Williams as a special guest or something like
Nice.
that, which is super rad.
Yeah.
And I think the city saw, oh, this is like a legitimate thing, then we'll acquiesce a little bit more, and so they do this honorary thing where they rename the town Smallville for the weekend or whatever. So yeah,
That's cool.
It's next level.
Good people.
All right, so a couple weeks after that is July 4th through 7th, the Anime Expo in downtown LA. And then the following weekend, July 12th through 14th, is the Fanboy Expo in Knoxville, Tennessee. Some of their guests include Paul Rubens, Richard Dean Anderson, Bruce Campbell, Carrie... I've never learned how to say his name.
Carrie
properly.
Elwes.
It is Elwes. That's what I want to say, and then other people say it different ways. Billy Zane, Walter Koenig, Carmen Electra, and John Delancey. Who is Q in Star Trek The Next Generation and has been a voice in My Little Pony. Yeah.
Only a brony would know.
No, I heard that on the Nerdist podcast. That's
Brony.
the only reason.
Brony.
I tried watching My Little Pony once, and I was like, I just can't do this.
The new one is awesome.
Yeah.
I got too many
Okay.
kids. Never.
Oh, yeah.
He's got a flock.
The week after that, July 17th through 21st, that's including preview night, is, of course, San Diego Comic-Con. That is exactly 1 month away now. October 11th through 13th, oh yeah, we're cheering, is LA Comic-Con. Those early bird tickets are on sale for that now, and apparently there's an office reunion going on. My cousin, for Father's Day, had pictures of him with his kids, and he had a shirt that said regional manager, and his little daughters, who was like, one's a baby and one's a toddler, just said assistant to the regional manager.
Nice.
Really cute. Some other events that are also coming up, July 11th, InfoList Pre-Comic-Con Bash.
Happens every year, yep.
Yeah, but they're doing it at a new location this year. How do you say this? Wedome?
It's the, let me call it.
These are things that I like see the names and
It's
never know.
the Wedome and Dome Park in downtown Los
Dome
Angeles.
Park in downtown LA, which there's always one at downtown LA. They've had it at Hollywood Highland before, but it's just a big fun bash before Comic-Con. A celebration of all things comic book, sci-fi, fantasy, and cosplay. Celebrities, Power Rangers, screenwriters, Tokyo Pop execs, LA Comic-Con folks, VFX companies, artists, the publishers of Fangoria, etc., etc. Tons of cosplay.
The InfoList pre-Comic-Con bash, of course, not to be confused with the InfoWars pre-Comic-Con bash, which is
Which is a very
held-
different event. Yeah.
We're not
would
treading
imagine.
into those waters.
Yeah, that's a lot.
I'm really curious. I'd be very curious about that one too. October 19th and 20th is Giving Back, the Supernatural official convention at Marriott Burbank Airport. Championed by Misha Collins, the convention will be supporting a local charity.
And this is the final year of Supernatural, so you can bet that these guys are going to go out with a bang.
And Misha Collins has done lots of charity work.
Yeah, it's he's partnering with the people he always works with for charity events.
Oh, cool.
Also, LA Comic Con early bird passes are 20% off for the 3-day pass.
Okay.
So it's $68 for 3-day pass, which is $17 off. So for anybody who wants.
So you can use that money for parking.
Correct.
Metro, take
And
Metro.
it's
Just
going to
take
take a while for you to find it, too. So.
Yeah, take the metro or take a
Yes.
lift.
Is that
Yes.
the convention? They stopped doing the LA one for a while, right? I just
Did they?
Different names.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
switched
changed
the
the
No, they
names a
just
lot.
It was
yeah.
Kamikaze, and then it was Stanley's
yeah,
LA
right.
Comic Con, and now it's LA Comic Con.
Interestingly, though, the company that runs it is still called Kamikaze.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so the Kamikaze
Yes.
folks are doing LA Comic Con, which last year was up to like around 90-some thousand attendees. So
Wow.
it is
It's
growing,
growing every year.
so fast.
Yeah. And I really love LA Comic Con. I love that the main stage is in the exhibit hall,
Yes.
so you
Yeah.
can just go stand there and see the really
Yeah.
big panels without waiting in line overnight or anything like that.
By
It
the
is
way,
pretty
they're
cool.
having an office reunion as well. So I guess this is the year for the office reunions, which does that lead us to believe any kind of conspiracy coming up? In other words, is there an office reboot about to happen?
Oh.
all these dang
knows?
sequels in the movies.
I'm sure they will if they can.
All right.
All right, so speaking of conventions, I'm
have
trying to
a-
segue.
Okay.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of the things we talk about all the time.
One of the biggest conventions coming up, of course, is San Diego Comic-Con. 140,000 people are about to descend on San Diego, California for perhaps the most influential, biggest comic book and pop culture convention in the country. There's many others
The
around,
world.
but this is the 50th anniversary, and there's a lot coming up. Katie, could you
50
kind of
years.
lead us through some of the news that we have coming out of San Diego?
Yes, real quick though, Anime Expo's giving away a 4-day badge. So if you go to their Twitter, it'll tell you
Ooh.
how to
Oh,
get that.
nice. She's on top of it.
Thanks, Katie.
So San Diego Comic-Con news is the badges have begun to ship. So all of us will anxiously be checking our mailboxes like 5 times a day. I know I do when they're. I always get paranoid that someone's gonna steal them, so I always want to get to my mailbox just in case.
I never get mine early.
But yeah, so they're coming out this year. They are different, like we talked about last week. But the box they come in has the 50th anniversary logo on the outside because it's the 50th anniversary of Comic-Con. And it has Amazon's The Boy on the inside. Also included are one of 4 pins, including the classic Toucan logo. Toucan logo, a Comic-Con 50th logo, and an updated Comic-Con logo. And then the original Golden State Comic-Con logo.
It's cool that they're shipping them in a box again.
Yes. All 4 pins will also be available for purchase at the Marriott Marquis Hotel.
And last year they were on sale for $10.78, which is a weird number.
Yeah. So
That is strange.
and the light pole banners have started to go up in Gaslamp Quarter. They are again sponsored by Marvel. They feature Avengers Endgame with a note from Marvel. We love you 3000.
Isn't that nice? That's very cool. Because, they don't need to be there for Endgame. There's no,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless, of course, they're promoting the DVD set.
Yeah.
I hear that they're having
And then-
a complete every single film
Oh,
box
my.
set. This
Yeah.
Dude, for all 3 phases?
Yes.
That's
How much is that
insane.
going to cost?
The li-
Oh, man.
They will sell out.
$6,000.
Who am I
3,000.
kidding? I'm probably going to
That's
buy
why-
it.
that's
Like,
why-
let's be
yeah.
real.
Yeah.
I want the Black Friday sale.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, then
Apple.
Comic-Con International also revealed the cover of their 2019 souvenir book, and I did just see it. It's awesome. It had it with pencils by legendary artist
They're showing it right now.
Jim Lee, inks by Scott Williams, and colors by Alex Sinclair. It celebrates 50 years of Comic-Con with characters including Superman, Wonder Woman, Spider-Man, Black Panther, Hellboy, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and even Michonne from Walking Dead. It's an all-star cast.
You know what? What's so cool about this cover is I don't think in recent memory I remember a cover that mixed DC, Marvel, and
No.
other
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
That's why
Yeah,
this
it's
one
great.
is so
That's cool.
incredible.
Yeah.
I love this.
Yeah. And then
50
Bernie
years.
Bregman has started a company called Experience Level Entertainment and is hosting 3 parties at
Yes.
Comic-Con.
Our friend Bernie Bregman.
Yes.
Friend of the show.
Friend of the show, yeah.
Each one with a very cool theme. Wednesday is his Ready Party 1. I went to that one last year. Thursday is his The Upside Down, a Stranger Things themed party that he's throwing in partnership with Nerdist. And
Yeah.
yeah, that's yeah.
He
And
did a cool
finally-
graphic of that too, where he put all 3 side by side.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I mean, I'm sure if you check out the Nerds Like Us, that's his
Well, you go to
his Instagram, right?
We'll retweet it because
Yeah.
he's kind of got a couple different. It's
Yeah,
like Bernie
gotcha.
yeah.
Yeah. And then finally, his Friday night party is Awesome Mixer Volume 2, themed after Guardians of the Galaxy. For more info on each event, check out conguyderek.com. And they all, if you go whatever site, whatever his Instagram is, you'll be able to click the link and it'll usually take you right to it as well.
And the tickets are somewhere around 25 to 30.
Yeah, it's like 35 to
For general-
50
for
depending
general
on
admission.
for general admission, and then there's like VIP and all that and all those things as well.
Bernie's really stepped his game up. Last year he had 2 parties, right?
I think so.
And then
yeah.
the year before was 1 party, so that's
Yeah.
kind of cool.
In
And then-
5 years, he'll have 7 parties.
The Chuck Jones Gallery, located at 232 Fifth Avenue, will be hosting several events during the week, celebrating The Simpsons, Star Wars, Looney Tunes, and more. Exact times and details are still TBA. But we'll continue to give you guys updates.
Yep.
Typically, all events are free and open to the public, and hotels are very slim. And the
Slim
ones that
pickings.
are, you probably will not get all 4 days from what I last looked. But, keep being vigilant and checking, because last year I went on at 2 a.m. and happened to find one for all 4 days that was much closer than what I'd already had.
Wow.
So just
Wow.
keep checking. That's all I can say.
And on the other days, there's the Hall H line.
Yes. Also, what I've done, I've also done that because I've had no hotel before and done that. But also, honestly, if the best you can find is something for 2 or 3 days, I would still book it. And then if you have 1 day, you have to figure out what to do from there. I think that's better than not having a room any days. So I would recommend, but yeah, go on the wait list. It's open now, so you can just go and try to find a place. So, yeah.
Does anybody else have any other news that they know of right now from San Diego Comic-Con that they've
One more thing was exclusives are coming out literally like by the hour. The lists of exclusives that are going to be there. If you guys follow the Comic-Con unofficial blog, which is SD_comic_con, they will post all of that stuff. And they have already today. Like Funko is bringing Big Bang Theory Funko Pops that are the cast in their Justice League costumes.
That's great.
And they're pretty great. I saw them earlier. So it has like Sheldon as the Flash and Raj as
Something else.
Aquaman?
thank you. I'm
Yeah.
totally
No worries.
But yeah, so it has all of them in their Justice League costumes, and
That's great.
I'm sure those will be a hot item considering that the show just ended. So yeah, but that'll be one of them. So
That's awesome.
There, if you kind of go looking, there's including the blog there and all kinds of different sites, and we're going to start listing. There's so many exclusives right now. The exclusives portal. And Katie, are you familiar with how the exclusives there's like an exclusive
Yeah.
lottery going to be?
yeah, so they do a lottery now, which online they'll send an email out to everybody on their mailing list. Basically, you click on the link, and then it takes you to all the individual exclusives. So it's always Mattel, Funko, the WB signings, something else is on there. I can't remember what the other one is. But all those you get like time slots that you can submit to get a ticket for. So basically, with Funko specifically and Mattel, you cannot just choose to go up to the booth to get your stuff. You have to win a slot. So they haven't sent out that email yet, but I'm assuming it'll go out soon because I think usually it goes out a couple weeks or at least a week before the programming list comes out, and the programming list will come out in 2 weeks.
July 4th.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, you basically just submit online, and it's a lottery, and you see if you get it. So usually with Funko, people submit for every single one in hopes that they can get at least one slot. So, yeah.
And just like we just talked about, the programming list will come out on July 4th. We'll have a special show after that to kind of like spotlight some of the biggest panels on there. We know, hopefully, that we know there are people on the show will be on some panels, so we will be talking about that. Anyways, Katie, thank you so very much for that update. There's so much more news coming, especially when it comes to exclusives. Oh, last question. You said something, you were talking, Derek, before the show about the Funko app where you can scan. What is this?
You can now scan via the new Funko app. It's literally called the new Funko app. And you can scan your collection like individually and find out how much your Funko Pops are worth.
Which is cool.
And then it'll let you add them to your collection, and it'll tell you cumulatively how much your collection is worth. And we found out an interesting tidbit of information today. My roommate found out that the Burt Macklin Funko Pop from Parks and Rec is now worth $60, and she probably spent like $12 for it. So
nice.
yeah. So
Buy a Comic-Con hotel. that kind of money.
yeah,
$60.
yeah.
All right, we will be
Say that
bringing you
again?
all
You
that.
could buy a hot dog at the convention center for that. Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we are going to move on to the exciting part of the show. And not like that wasn't exciting. That sounds
that's
terrible.
Yeah.
Now that we're done with all the boring stuff,
I'm excited for it now, man.
I am super
Yeah.
excited.
We talked about things we know are happening at Comic-Con. Now we'll talk about something that we really hope happens at Comic-Con.
Yeah.
Justin Copeland,
Yeah.
director of Batman, Hush, and
Yeah.
so many more things. thank you and welcome to the ConGuy Comic-Con Prep Show this week.
Heck yeah, man.
Yeah.
Ta-da!
Hey.
All right, and you guys are friends with Justin, so
Yeah.
let's hear some dirt. No, I'm just kidding.
This guy
Yeah.
has many children.
Yeah, quite a lot. They're fun kids too.
But you guys know the kids; they're doing all right. They're doing all right.
Yeah, good.
So
Yeah.
something kind of exciting is happening here. I mean, it has been exciting for like 10 years, but you have a big accomplishment that we are talking about tonight. Can you
Yeah.
just talk us through that?
Yeah, so let's see. I was like you listed off, I was a supervising storyboard artist, which basically like assistant director at Warner Brothers under Sam Liu mostly for years, forever. My first film there was Hush. I was a storyboard artist.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So I worked on that. I did pretty good. And they were like, man, Bruce Timm really liked your work and on The Killing Joke. So that's really cool. I'm like, because he doesn't like anything. He's just, he really doesn't. So I went right into Sam, one of our other directors, and was like, man, I want to direct here. That's been my goal. And he immediately beat the crap out of me for years just to get me ready, to direct, because it's a lot. It's it averages about 90 to 96 pages of script that you gotta draw and condense down to 70 2 minutes. So right after that, Sam just got me ready, trained me to be a director. So from there I moved up to storyboard supervisor. I believe it was on Gaslight. I think that was my first film. I did pretty good on the Judas Contract, which that was a blast. That was a really fun script when we got that.
So my favorite all-time comic series is the Teen
it was
Titans.
a good one.
Love it.
Yeah. I heard of it briefly before that movie started, but after the movie, became like a really big fan. So on that one, I did pretty good. The opening to that, Sam had me redraw the opening, and he was really impressed with that. So from there, I moved up on Gaslight, which was a blast. That was probably my favorite. I should post some of those drawings at some point, but that was probably my favorite movie. And as a supervisor, just learning the ropes, going to cast recordings, learning about post-production, learning about the entire process. And then one day they called me in. James Tucker, my producer at Warner Brothers, called me in and was like, hey, man, I would really like for you to direct Hush. How do you feel about that? And I'm like, what? Are you kidding? Really? Wow. Because, that comic was awesome. I mean, it's predictable as the story was. It was great. It was fun to see his rogues gallery. That's what the book is about. So it was almost like a full circle moment. I was really trying to break into comics around the time that the book, the graphic novel came out, or the comics came out. So it felt like this full circle moment, when I got it. And the script is amazing. It's next level. I read the script and was like, really? Because how do you take the story that everybody knows and make it something where you surprise people? And you will. It's surprising.
Cool.
So,
yeah. Now, I was just going to say, I don't really know the Batman comics as well as some people. But friends who do know
What's
the comics,
the matter with you? Sorry.
I know. Friends who do have told me that Hush is a great storyline. So
Get out of here, G.I. Joe.
What's the synopsis basically that you can tell us for anyone else who doesn't know the story?
Without giving away secrets.
Yeah, absolutely. So basically, a new villain shows up in Batman's life, and he has some very intimate. He or she. He or she has some very intimate detail, like knowledge of Batman, and the knowledge is so intimate that he's able to get Batman's rogues gallery to do work for he or she to just terrorize this dude, and it makes him rethink, like what it means to even be Batman. What does it even mean to be, Bruce Wayne? Also, him and Selena Kyle kind of get, pretty like closer.
Catwoman.
Catwoman. Excuse me.
Yep.
Yeah, Selena Kyle, Catwoman.
That's one of the most famous comic book panels.
Yeah. Page, bro.
In his one page where it's just Batman and Catwoman are embracing.
Yeah. Ooh.
And when you
Witten
say
is whipping his cape.
When you say Batman's rogues gallery, you are, for people who aren't as familiar, like Derek, of the comic. Who are you talking about? The rogues gallery.
I'm talking Joker, Scarecrow, Ivy's in there, Superman's in there.
The Condiment King, does he show up?
I know Superman's in there, which
the Condiment King. Penguin's
but
in there,
that
isn't
would
he?
be good. No, no, Penguin's not in
No,
there.
Penguin's not in there.
It'd be nice.
Clayface.
I tried to get Clayface in there.
Oh yeah.
I tried
Yeah.
to get a lot more than what we actually had in the movie, but
Oh.
you know.
I think I saw Poison Ivy in the trailer.
Yeah,
Poison
yeah,
Ivy's in
okay.
there, yeah. So
Yeah.
and they're just terrorizing this dude, you know.
Poison Ivy is kind of a key point. Hush is one of my. Hush is probably my favorite comic book.
Wow.
I mean, Jeff Loeb is one of my favorite Batman writers.
Yeah.
and there are a lot of great Batman writers. But yeah, I think it was for my birthday or Christmas one year, my Brianna got me like the hardcover edition with the like it slips into the case
Oh,
and
nice.
all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, it's awesome. But I love the story of
Yeah.
Hush. It's just fun, and it's fun to see the Rogues gallery all like he encounters them kind of
Yeah.
one by one in a sense, and I'm really looking forward to watching the movie. And
Yeah.
seeing that
Can
happen.
someone
cool.
explain what is the Hush? What is Hush?
So Hush is the name of the main villain, the new
Okay.
villain that shows up, and Batman has no idea who this dude is, but
Or Dudette.
Or Dudette,
yeah.
And okay, by the way, the thing that's so exciting, you said you drew this. This is hand drawn,
Well, yeah, it's 2D animation,
2D,
you know.
which is fantastic.
Yeah. So basically, in America, because our production is split into two. So in America, we do most of the pre-production, right? So all of the character designs and all of the storyboards, background designs, color keys, all that stuff, we do it here. And then we ship it off, usually to some studios in Korea who we are intimately familiar with. I mean, it's like being one studio.
Right.
So we're basically sending them the blueprints of a house, and they build the house. And then send the house back, and then we put on the final, touch-ups to it or whatever, edit it together. So yeah, so basically my job, it begins as a glorified storyboard artist. And I have to wrangle together a bunch of brilliant storyboard artists.
You said glorified. That's an awesome job all by
Yeah.
itself. That's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah, so I basically get to animate, Batman, which is a blast. It's one of the best things you can do.
For
So,
fanboys and geek girls, that's like the coolest thing in the
Yeah.
world. Yeah.
yeah.
We do have a question from one of our viewers.
Okay.
So
Oh.
Jake Thomas, who's a friend
Oh, yeah.
of
Oh,
us
yeah.
here, he's watching, and he had no idea that you directed on this. Was very excited about that because it's one of his
Nice.
favorite comics, and he actually read like the first 4 issues on the way to visit LA for the first time before he moved out here. But his question was, how does a director's role in animation differ from live action?
Not by all that much, because basically you have, your goal is to visualize the script, so in that sense, it's not that different, My actors are my board artists, and then it becomes my animators. So we hand out portions of the script, so we call it casting, actually. So I'll cast it out to different board artists who I think can handle certain parts the best. So you hand that out, and then they go on board, and they're individuals, so they have their own ideas, but the story is the boss, so everything has to fall in line with that. But you have to keep everything in mind throughout the entire production. Like if you board Bruce Wayne doing that here, you have to remember, in Act 3, this other thing happens, so we have to keep that in line. Also, you got to keep all of the character designs and the prop designs and the color, all that stuff you got to keep in mind, So in that sense, it's not that different, other than working with very superstar, A-list actors on a set day after day. I don't do that, but I do sit in the booth with A-list stars.
Can you tell us some of the actors who are voicing?
Yeah, are you there for that process with the?
Yeah.
Yeah, I am there.
Directing them?
It's so in that process, I work closely. Our executive producer is like the main dude. He makes a lot of the main decisions, and I beg him to get away with certain things. Like, no, we can't do that. No, we can't do that. Blah blah blah. I feel like I'm drawing a blank because there are so many people.
Well, I saw. Oh wait.
Let's see. Jerry O'Connell.
Oh yeah, Jerry O'Connell plays our Superman in like nearly
Yeah.
every
He's awesome.
one of our.
Rebecca
Nice,
Romaine.
Rebecca Romaine, his wife, plays our Lois Lane, which is always fun.
wow.
It's always fun.
And then
We got 2 Peyton lists who
Okay.
somebody from Outlander's in there, who plays Batman.
What's his name?
I can't remember. I was looking at the cast list today. And
I just had the
We
cast
got
list.
Mr. Rainn Wilson.
Oh yeah, Rainn Wilson plays our Lex
Oh,
Luthor.
nice.
Yeah.
The best Lex Luthor ever.
Ooh, really?
Yeah,
That's
Okay.
a good casting.
He's in the
Absolutely
Death of
fair.
Superman movies as Lex Luthor, so
Okay.
check that out.
Cool.
If you haven't seen it.
Jennifer Morrison.
Oh yeah, Jennifer Morrison it played Selena Kyle.
Yeah.
She's from Chicago, so automatically
There you go.
she's
Oh, there you go.
amazing.
Yeah.
but
People are really excited about her. I was looking.
she's really, really, really good.
Yeah, I was looking on Twitter today. People are super excited about her.
Yeah.
Jeffrey, is it Aaron or how do you say his
Yeah,
last
Aaron.
name?
Yep. Mhm.
Like he does great character. I've seen him in like other shows where he did a bunch of imitations and stuff. So like I don't think people usually think of him as like a voice person, but I saw him in something where he's really good at impressions. So
Yeah.
I'm sure he was really good at the Riddler.
Yeah, a lot of that's one of the best roles ever. That was a lot of fun. We had to cut out some dialogue. That was my favorite.
So
anyway.
Jason O'Mara.
Oh yeah, Jason O'Mara's
Yeah.
our Batman. We will switch up between him and Kevin Conroy. I actually couldn't remember if it was him or Kevin that played in this.
Oh yeah.
Vanessa Williams?
Yeah, Vanessa
She's in it,
Williams.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you've
as
got
our-
quite a cast
yeah,
here.
yeah. So I am there during that process, and that's a lot of fun.
Can I ask you one question? Because these movies, like, there's a lot of them here.
Yeah.
When did you guys make the choice, or do you know when the choice was made, when the decision was made to kind of go more adult with these films?
Yeah.
I mean, that kids could watch it somewhat, but
Yeah.
but there's violence and cursing and different things.
Well,
in
like
these
The
films.
Killing Joke, if you remember.
It was
it.
after
Yeah.
watching Batman and Robin for the first time, and like we're gonna take a new angle on this.
Like the subject matter, like The Killing Joke, it's
Yeah.
pretty.
I wasn't there when that happened. I remember my cousin called me up one day. It was like, "Man, I just rented Green Lantern, one of these Green Lantern movies. What y'all need to talk to them about all the cursing." I'm like, "What?" I wasn't even there. But the thing is, and Brad Bird says this all the time, is animation is not for kids. It's not exclusively for kids.
Exclusively, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not animation is not a genre. Like we make dramas, we make action films. And we just use animation as our medium. So we just decided that like we don't want to just only make movies that are just for kids. We want to make movies for people who, number one, love these characters, and number two, want to see a really good story. And
Those of us who
Batman's
were kids and grew up with it. Yeah.
Exactly. Want to see these characters actually move, and we have a blast with it. It's a really cool niche, those DC animated films. So, yeah, just want to make good stories. And if somebody has to get their head chopped off to tell a good story, it has to happen.
What about how you and your brothers got into drawing and animation, all that in the first place, growing up in Chicago? Can you touch a little bit on
Absolutely. Yeah, so I always wanted to be Steven Spielberg. My mom once told me, you're like Steven Spielberg. I didn't know who he was. I didn't know what he did, So growing up, I always wanted to make movies. But, growing up in Chicago, we didn't have money. So
Go Cubs.
Go Cubs. I'm a huge Cubs. I'm from the north side. My uncle, who actually, lived out in L.A. at the time, would send boxes of comics, and I'm like, this is like filmmaking because it's visual storytelling. So I started drawing, the three of us. It's my other two brothers, and then we have a sister as well. And we just started drawing comics, got into anime, got into manga, got into everything, and for years and years and years and years, I'm very familiar with the convention process because for years we were trying to break into comics and it just did not happen. I, in fact, got really, really close. Jim Lee really wanted me to work for him at Wildstorm at one point, but then it just didn't happen, which I'm so grateful for.
Yeah,
because that's when I got into animation. So, yeah, it was just years of trying to break into comics and then found our way into animation, and it's just been great ever since.
We do have to wrap up the show.
Yeah.
We are kind of running out of time. But you just mentioned something, the conventions.
Yeah.
And I know we can't talk about a lot of stuff because San Diego Comic-Con's list doesn't come out until July 4th. Is there any chance we might see you down at San Diego Comic-Con?
Yeah, I'll definitely be there. There's a lot of stuff going on. I was working on Invincible with Robert Kirkman. So
Wow.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
about to
yeah,
ask
we
about
were
that. I was
talking
about to, this is Brian in the booth. I was about to ask
Yeah.
about that. I'm
That's
really
another
fascinated with that.
episode of this show.
Yeah, can you tell us a little
Just
bit
real
about
quick,
that?
real quick.
Yeah, that's still actually in the process. I've actually left the show. I was on there for a while and then I actually left and trying to do some other things. But that was a blast. We're really good friends with Robert Kirkman. that was a dream come true job. You know, I can't give any details that they haven't given yet, and they are extremely tight-lipped about that because Amazon.
Great cast for that.
Yeah.
That cast is one of
Amazing.
the best casted.
Well, I can I can tell you this. I can tell you that you are keeping the secrets. You're very tight-lipped, but I do know that I every year at San Diego Comic-Con have seen a fantastic Warner Brothers film. That's the only place I've ever really seen them because that's where I was introduced to them. And then I bought some stuff. So I hope we can hope. Fingers are crossed that we will be clapping for you down there.
I think
I hope it shows down there.
I think it's a mistake if they don't do this one, but we'll hope, and we'll just wait for that announcement and see. But
thank you so much for coming on the show this week. This has been
you.
great, and thank you guys for watching this week's ConGuy Comic-Con Prep Show. You can find me at Jim Frye LA on Twitter. And I think I'm the same thing on Instagram. I never know what that is. Where can we find everybody else?
You can find me on Twitter at conguyderek.
You can find me on Twitter at JustDog.
Yo, BenKliewer, BenKliewer. You can find me on any social media at BenKliewer. Just how I spelled it.
And I love that scoundrel hat. It's really awesome.
I'm Katie. You can find me on Twitter at KT_Christine and on the ConGuy.com's Twitter and on Instagram at Katie's Fairy Tale.
And I'm Cheeseman on the Couch. You can find me on the ConGuy.com and on Twitter at CheeseOnCouch.
So please like us, follow us, comment, stalk us. We are there. Make us popular, guys, because we love you. All right, we'll see you guys in 4 weeks at San Diego Comic-Con. Be here until then. All right.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.